My whole life, as early as I can remember, I loved horses. Before I had even ridden a horse, I loved horses. I had my first lesson at age 6, and I never stopped. Most of my life goals were oriented around horses. The jobs I had were really just to afford horses. I had no passion in them. I found a partner who supported my love of horses, even when it took us all the way out into the country, miles away from what he was familiar with. I defined myself as an equestrian. Horses were my defining feature. My whole world revolved around them, which is why I wasn't prepared for how much having kids would change my life.
It's one of those days where nothing is going right. Not because of the horse, actually. He's totally fine. It's been a few days since I came out because it's been raining constantly. And everyone is stir crazy, including my kids who have not been out because it's been raining. So come out to the barn. I usually come out when it's a day when people aren't here, but because it's been raining, I guess everyone showed up. There's just too much chaos going on. Kids are acting crazy. Too many people around. It's not a good day for me. We'll try again another day, right? He was actually fine though. He had good energy. I didn't film it because it was so chaotic. I was planning to. I had to cut it short because my kids were just basically not acting the way they should. They weren't playing quietly. I didn't want to hang around and when someone else came out to the arena, they'd get their horse might get spooked. So I decided to just end it and come back. And it's a good thing I did because someone was heading out right when I was going in. That's okay. You did good. You're a good boy. You did good boy. We'll try again.
To summarize my rambling, basically I took the kids to the barn expecting a quiet day. They play around the arena, I ride my horse. It's been working out pretty good like that. Instead, the barn was packed and the kids were fighting with each other and being too disruptive, so I had to end my session and get them out of there. I was ready to cry that day. For nearly a week before this, I hadn't seen Stu. I had only been taking care of children without a break. I think that's a part that a lot of non-parents don't understand. With hobbies or even horses, you can just put them away and walk away. You can read a book, watch TV, take a nap. You can take a break. There are no breaks with kids. They always want to do something with you, asking for you to entertain them, feed them, play with them, read to them. It's understandable that they want to be with me. I want to be with them too. But I also want some time to myself to decompress a little bit. That's what I had wanted that day. Just a little bit of time to decompress on my horse.
Look at you, you're dripping. You're soaking wet.
There was once a time when I didn't want kids. I had way too many goals to be distracted with a whole new responsibility. But one summer I taught at Girl Scout camp, and leading all those little girls in their love of horses made me realize how much fun kids were. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to raise them, nurture them, and see them grow. I wanted to share horses with them. So in short, I changed my mind. Kids weren't a burden. They were just another feature of a fulfilling life. I definitely wanted to have kids one day.
I hope he'll just be chill today. He was a little bit, I think because he had like a week off or so, he was a little crazy yesterday. And then the kids and the horses were also running at the same time. So I will be fair to my kids. It might not have just been my kids. It was also the horses in the field running. Thank you. So that's why it's also warm. That makes sense.
You want to see her jacket?
Oh yeah, it is a pretty cool jacket. I like how loud it is.
I think there's a reason that many passionate horsewomen don't have kids. Kids are basically competition for horses. Horses require tons of attention. Kids require tons of attention. Horses are a grand passion, the reason for life. Well, so are kids. There's no selling them because they're a bit too hyper for the hunters and maybe they'll do better in the jumper ring. They are a lifelong commitment, more so than any horse. And that means you can't really be sure how they will impact your horse life. It might be fine, sure. Maybe you have a nanny. Maybe you have a super supportive partner who wants nothing more than to watch the kids. Maybe grandma helps. Maybe you got that miracle baby that hangs out in the barn with you and doesn't cry when you walk away for the simplest of tasks. But for the majority of moms, the baby requires too much to walk away. And even if you could, there's still the inner guilt of leaving your baby to go have fun, to haunt you. This is how I ended up going a few years without regular riding. I had my first baby, which seemed manageable. But perhaps it was too easy because I decided to go for double. And then the universe misunderstood what I meant and I got twins. Obviously, I love my boys, but that first year was really hard. 2 babies at the same time was almost too much. I really just survived day by day. Just get through today and it'll be okay. Just get through the night, it'll be okay. And then a whole year passed and it started to get easier. Not easy, but easier. That is how I ended up going several years only partially in horses. I was much too busy with the kids to really think about horses. And even just getting started again seemed really hard. In fact, part of my reason for being on YouTube now was to motivate me to get to the barn and make it work. It actually was a good plan since I'm now riding pretty regularly. I decided I was going to come out the next day, and this time I didn't bring the kids. They stayed with Daddy. Some barn time was all I needed for the stress to float away. I had a wonderful day at the barn, probably one of the best since I started riding again. I rode with my good friend, and I made a new friend who has the tallest horse on the farm, like 18 two hands or something. Look at him. Stu was awesome. He was getting so much better at being in front of my leg, and our turning has improved so much. I finally cantered him today, which ended up barely being on camera. But it was amazing. My confidence has improved so much. I had set up a camera with my raincoat over it since it was drizzling on and off, but somehow, even though I'd been wearing the raincoat, seeing it hanging up was too distressing for the horses. So Natalia did a rescue mission to save us all from the malicious coat.
Like he's never seen it before. Alright, walk on. Can we walk on? Good. Do you want to take a sniff? You want to take a sniff?
Yeah, I'm thinking that I just want to like drop it on the ground and not have it waving. Because they didn't seem to care when it was on the ground.
But there's going to be a new object from the ground.
I can get it. Everything about this jacket is just a pain in the butt now.
Can you ride slow? I'm scared that mine is going to run
Maybe
into it.
I should just get off and get it.
Can you, if you move
Since it's
it,
my
I'll move
jacket,
it.
I'll just get off and get it. Here, I'll get it, Natalia. You don't have to.
It's a good practice.
It's also like hooked on the camera. So. Oh, good! Wow!
Good boy.
Look at you!
That was so cute to do it.
That was really good though. That was really
I'm going to put it in the gazebo.
Okay. There we go. Problem solved. You're a hero!
It was a really good day and a good ride. It was nice not having to watch the kids while I rode. My concentration was totally on Stu, and I think that reflected in the ride. Of course, next time I'll have the kids again. My husband does work, so he can't just keep watching them for me. But once again, I'll aim for a low barn traffic time. I was definitely frustrated, but I don't blame the kids at all. They are still learning, and really they were just playing in a very loud way, minus the fighting. They could have gone without the fighting. It was just frustrating at the time to have a ride plan and then it doesn't work out. But I'll continue to go with the flow and take it day by day and really just have low expectations. Even just getting out there and seeing Stu will be good enough. I'll continue to feel gratitude that this even is my life, even if I do have disappointments. I know many moms end up having to give up horses completely because they are just juggling too much. I hope one day they find their way back to horses. Kids don't always slide neatly into your life. Sometimes they throw off everything you know. Your former identity seems to slip away and now you're just mom. It's honestly kind of frightening. You don't feel like the same person you once were. But that doesn't mean you're lost forever. You can come back. We have to make sure our kids are taken care of first. Then, if we're lucky, we can slip out for a ride. All we can do is make the best of it. It does mean that horses take a back seat, but they're still there. I know I'm very lucky to still have horses in my life, even if it's not in the capacity it was before. Realistically, I think it's highly unlikely that Stu and I are going to show at the level I was aiming for before I had kids, which is kind of funny since I bought him specifically for showing. But at this point, I actually don't really care. I completely lost any competitive spirit I had before, so I don't even have interest in showing now. I just want to pursue continual improvement and having fun. Above all other riding goals, I just want to have fun with my horses. And hopefully, it will become a family activity, and my kids will love horses and riding too. That would be the dream.